Funny money.
Let me check your
Funny
ears.
money.
Wow. Books, man. Boy, has a
Sunday.
752. Okay. Yeah, if you're actually caught in a homosexual act, yeah, you're going to get locked up. You can get I believe up to 5 years for 5 or 10 years, something like that, for a homosexual act. And I feel even if you're not caught directly in the act, they're more or less still gonna, they're gonna look down on you or hold it against you, And yeah, I'd say they hold you down because it doesn't go along with their way of living, so they can't go for it.
What you said, homosexuals in institutions create sort of a problem, as far as between inmates.
Like cause for fights or stuff like always keep things
Create a
going.
problem, man.
I would think so, cause just like a relationship in the street, you get attached to a person, or get attached to a lady, you don't want nobody else fooling with them. And I think that's the way, it ends up in the penitentiary,
A jealousy thing.
A homosexual in the penitentiary is a woman, takes the woman's part. And you don't want people infringing on your rights. That's just the way I say it is.
I seen it.
In your opinion, Tweety, do you think they should have a separate facility for the homosexuals to take them out of the population?
I think so.
Some of them.
Then you would be discriminating.
I would say, right. I feel that that would be discriminating against them, because then you're putting a label on them, hey, you're different from, you're doing the same thing that the people in the street are doing to you,
They are different.
Well, then you're different from the people in the street.
Quite naturally, I'm different from you, but what we're talking about, they're devious. A homosexual is contrary to nature. That's understood. Men don't go with men. See, this is what I'm saying, and whether it's a minority or no, it's just not. It's just what you say, not right.
So that's the way you feel.
Yeah, that's the way I feel.
Man.
And when you say a minority, you understand that's labeling a person in another sense to me. Something that's bad, you can't label it like that.
That's the same token as you could label a drug addict, a drunk, a murderer, a rapist.
Yeah, but I feel like
A drug addict to me is a sick person. A homosexual is sick, but a drug addict is not contrary to nature. Dogs don't go with dogs. Frogs don't go with male frogs. And to call a homosexual a minority, you should call him even worse things.
like I think, like you said, drug addict and alcoholic. I feel like when you come to the system, I feel like that's the way the system should be broken down. The capital crimes should be in one place. They should have drug facilities for those people who have drug problems. If you're mentally sick, they should send you to mental institutions, and homosexuals should be in another one. I don't feel like these problem people should be a hindrance to them, to just people who are trying to be right and end up on the wrong road.
I personally don't think you would be discriminating against anybody, because if you have a bad behavior, you're put into another institution of maximum security, and it's proven scientifically that homosexuality is a choice. You choose it; it's not a mental illness, so it'd be no different by putting them on a separate place.
Well, I feel you should deal with the person the way the person is, and not what the person is.
But do you feel that they should be in a different institution than from us? In order to cut down what's going on?
No.
Don't know.
On that subject about homosexuals, don't you feel that even though a lot of people might not engage with homosexuality, don't you feel that as long as that person show you respect and you show likewise that you shouldn't hold no really hard feelings, no accusation about them, that as long as they didn't try to get y'all to indulge, act, I mean, why should you, show them disrespect? I mean, they human just like we are. So what I'm asking is, well, even though most of us don't engage in that type of act, why should you knock what a person want to be?
We're not knocking it. Personally, I just said it was wrong to me.
Well, does anybody else have any more questions outside of this field here?
Now, let me ask you one thing. Do you think there's potential homosexual when you come to the penal system?
Well, who was it that said that everybody, every male has homosexual tendencies?
No, that's not the way I'm speaking. I know this shit. But you indulge and you deal with a woman that's still the same thing. But like you made a statement about not accepting anything from anybody. But if now one listen to this shit and go ahead and accept him, or one give out of the let's say just up and give it to you, and you accept it. But why you accept it? Because you need it for one or potential.
I understand what you're saying.
How about give me an answer to it?
Since you understand it.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what he's trying to say. I don't necessarily feel like if you accept something from somebody, you got to have homosexual potential. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's dudes that give stuff off, the kindness of their heart. You know what I mean? Because somebody walking in and asks me for a smoke, or if I got it, I give it up, and don't mean nothing bad. But it don't necessarily mean the dude got a homosexual, tendencies for him to even accept something,
So when one coming to the penal system,
right?
And like Tweety indicated, young and I always say pretty.
what people consider pretty? I never seen a pretty man. I don't know what a pretty man is.
Okay. So scratch that one. Okay, and how would he know that you are giving it from your heart, just accepting for what he is, or trying to?
Because he know it. If he know himself, then he know whether or not to accept it. But if he accept it, he know what he's doing.
He know himself, but he's full of fear.
No. If he's full of fear, then he ain't gonna accept it.
Wait a minute.
You understand?
Let me.
Right.
Is he talking about the same kind of acceptance you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's one, because I thought it was something different.
But what you got? What you got? Another variable?
I thought you were talking about, like if a person. I thought you were talking about from a homosexual point of view. The homosexual, gives you something.
No. We
you talking about if a person just gives you something.
It haven't been seduced to the homosexual, right? And like he's a kind of what we would say a chump or a pushover, and come into the penal system, or and down.
You saying like a person say, I give you something, and a person say, well, how can I thank you?
Yeah, now.
And then he delivers this. Will you accept it that way?
Yeah, will you accept it that way?
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
Because I'm not a homosexual.
You don't have to.
And I wouldn't do nothing
see,
like.
but still,
I'm not that type of person. I wouldn't give somebody something and they ask me how can I repay it. I wouldn't tell them that. I don't care if I knew they were. I just don't mess around.
How will you tell them? How will you indicate that you pay?
Huh?
How will you indicate that one paid?
If I give somebody something, they ask me how can you repay it. they ask me how could they repay me, you know, I just tell them, you know, when you get it, you know, you can give it back.
Yeah, well, you know, we got a lot of them here that out in the opening they don't participate in homosexual, but behind closed doors they do it.
Yeah, probably so.
Move on.
You have a question?
Speaking on terms of drugs, I don't know if I heard you correct, Ali, but first of all, let me ask you, did you say that you was attending a drug program or you was locked up for having drugs?
Oh no. To me, my crime related from drugs in terms that you know, like all the money that I got went into it.
All right, then let me ask you this: you feel that by being locked up, and even though it's drugs on the outside, it's also drugs throughout the penal system, as everybody knows. Well, what would you estimate that a person or the average amount of money that would be spent in any penal system just on general buying drugs? Do you feel it's a lot more to buy inside the penal system than it is on the streets?
Not necessarily, you know, not necessarily. What I mean is, you know, I feel like drugs are more plentiful in a larger institution, you know, rather than a smaller one, you know what I mean? And, you know, if it is, you know, it's standard, I done heard it's standard prices, you know, like you make it buy a J for, why
Maybe a
or
juice,
something like that.
$1 or
And,
$2.
you know, yeah, right. Of course,
See, when you're paying for drugs in an institution, you're also paying for the risk that the person had to take to get it in too. You know.
double risk.
All right, then do you feel that it's against the law, any way you look at it, to have drugs, and you get busted for having drugs on like a camp or something, and they lock you up? Do you feel that even though you didn't have nothing to do with the drugs, but you was caught with the drugs in your possession, and most people might say you a snitch or something like that if you tell on the man, or if you didn't want to go to jail because you know who did it? I mean, what would be your feelings while you were in jail about you getting caught with the drugs even though you just brought it? I mean, would you be wanting to think, well, if I tell on this man I get out, or would you just keep it to yourself?
Well, you put yourself in that position, so you know, who can you blame but yourself?
People who does know what they're getting into anyway, you know.
A snitch is a person who tells, you know, that's straight up a snitch. If you tell, you know, that's just how that is, though.
And you wouldn't hold no grudges or even think about it, even though you got busted for maybe having one joint of reefer when the other man might have 200 or 300 joints of it.
Well, that's yours.
And
You
get busted and he didn't, that's more pound joint.
Are you trying to tell us something?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Do you feel that you can become a drug addict in the penitentiary system?
Well, I don't know so much about the penitentiary system, but while I was in jail, my first time down, before they started the methadone programs, they used to just dispense methadone right there in the jail, and you know, I got strung out on methadone, and then when I went back out in the streets, you know, I had to you know, get my shot.
So in other words, you was addicted to it, right?
Right.
I can speak a little bit on drugs. I wasn't a drug user, I was a drug abuser, you know, and I never shot drugs, but I took enough pills and did enough hallucinogenics that you know, I had a habit, you know. And if it wasn't a habit, you know, it was a hell of a way to like life, you know. It was like an everyday thing. You just didn't feel right if you didn't have it in you. And in here, if the drugs were available in here, I can't say positive, but I don't think I would use drugs that way, because I know how bad it hurt, you know. I know what kind of problem you get from it, you know. I know how you feel when you can't get it, you know. Like I did a lot of barbiturates, and if you can't get them, it's just like a drunk, you know. You feel bad the next day and can't start on nothing, you know. You ain't got that corner like in the bottom. Start on you, it's rough.
Would you say it would never stop drugs coming into the institution?
As long as a person wants something bad enough, they're going to get it.
I just wanted to get your opinion.
All right.
Because you got so many, you know, in your institution, there's so many different ways of getting drugs in. You got guards, you got different types of people who smuggle drugs into the institution. And you would never have a drug-free institution. No way.
Well, I have to agree with that, cause you know.
And it all depends on the individual whether or not he gets addicted by drugs too. That was a question you asked me. It all depends on the individual. Like I shot it in the street, you know, and I see, you know, if I would see it here now or something, you know, just like he said, it'd be a
Test the strength.
Like I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it where people be on road camp. Not this one, but people be on road camps and that have never done drugs before, and they come here and you know it's like an escape. You know, it helps you get away from this place for the time you are high, and they start doing drugs while they are.
don't know what they really getting into. Really. I would like to, I don't say I would like to see drugs here, but I would like to see whether or not, before I hit the street, if some heroin was here, will I shoot it? Like I can say now, no, I ain't gonna shoot it and this, that, and the other, but I haven't had the chance to really, for real now. I lived a life of this here, and I really haven't had a chance to see, to be around it, to see whether that I'm gonna shoot, some more stuff. But I could look at another dude, just like I said, I just look back on the street and I can see what I've done, and I can look down on anybody that has done anything in here that I'm already done, and it makes you stronger. As far as drug rehabilitation, I personally don't believe in drug rehabilitation. It all depends on the individual. When you get kicked in that, then you will stop whatever you're doing.
Take a person that don't use drugs, would you influence them on to use?
Would I influence? No, I was talking to a dude who never done it one night, Pope, and I told him how good it felt. You know what I mean?
But did you influence him to use it?
Did I influence? No, I just told him how it really felt. How the speedball and all that. I really gave it to him. But you see, I done shot stuff where I am. Everybody that done shot or done used drugs that's in here, where they are. Ain't no need of telling nobody not to do something. Curiosity kill a cat. You tell a little child don't touch the stove, 5 minutes later they gonna touch it just to see how hot it is.
One more.
Excuse me.
But you said 9 out of 10 people that use drugs, well, I wouldn't say use drugs, abuse heroin and cocaine. Would you say 9 out of 10 of them, gonna go back to to their drugs sooner or later in life?
Well,
now don't prove,
I don't need to be playing with myself either,
I use drugs.
Right, I can dig it. Ain't no need to be playing with myself. But see, to me, that's where your values lie. If, like knowing if I go out here and start shooting stuff again, I'm coming back to penitentiary. There ain't no way out. You can't, I ain't rich, you know what I mean? And I done seen rich people shoot up everything, till they was broke, But like you can't say that's you really can't say whether or not. That's just like a man say stop smoking, but can he really ever say he gonna keep a cigarette out of his mouth?
Well, was it anything better in life? I'm talking about sex and everything to you than drugs.
You put me on the spot, man. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
I'm just
though.
asking you.
Right,
I know. I'm
Right.
just asking you.
I can dig it. Like,
If we kill stuff here, and one of the baddest women in the world was on the other side, which one would you take?
well, let me say this. When I was on the street, I can tell you what I would have done.
Well, I'm
When
gonna
I
ask
was
you
on the
what you would
street.
do now.
Right now,
Yeah.
drop dead trying to make a decision.
What would you have done on the street?
I probably would have got the stuff and try to anger my way to get the number. You know.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, because you might not get another shot.
You know, I heard a lot of people say it messes with your sex drive and all that, but I don't know. I could never see that. I mean, you know, like when I was there, you know.
You asked earlier, said something about 9 out of 10 people who come in here using drugs. You feel if they'd use them when they get back out.
Right. Sooner or later.
Right. Well, I've been in halfway houses, therapeutic communities that were designed especially for rehabilitation of drug addicts. And I believe their percentage is something only like 6% of the people who come out of there and never shoot dope again. And they're designed especially for that. So I really can't see anything that this place would help a drug addict unless they looked at themselves and said, hey, I dig where I'm at and where I'm here, and if they get tired of it.
Well, it's obvious that a drug center cannot help a junkie, because a junkie, I know junkies that was in halfway houses and in drug therapeutic centers, and that had parole officers and still was using drugs and had to take urinalysis.
You see, like a drug program or something, it don't stop you from shooting dope. It just kind of wears you of what you're doing. You know what I mean? Once you know what you're doing and know what you want to do, then you just weigh it. Do I want to do this or I want to do? And you can't do both of them. And like that's what I'd be doing when I hit the street. I weigh it whether I want. Yeah, I want to. I tell you right now, I want to shoot stuff.
You do. I know, and everybody that was shot in it wants to
But
shoot.
I just got to weigh
You
it.
can't say how other people feel,
Right.
but that's your feeling. Some people
Right.
had bad experiences with drugs, even
Right,
though
but
they
I'm gonna
like
tell you
the
this,
high.
man. I don't care what you say. I'm telling you this. I believe anybody that ever shot drugs wants to shoot them again, whether it's
Well,
sooner
you're
or later.
welcome to your beliefs, but the facts are,
Now I believe that.
if a dude ever accumulated something without drugs, I can speak for myself. If you accumulate something, then all of a sudden you got a family arrangement, you done accumulate a few material things, and all of a sudden between a bag of white powder, you lose everything, come to penitentiary.
Yeah.
You got to be a goddamn fool to shoot it again.
Why?
Because you look what you done lost.
Why?
You gonna come out the penitentiary with nothing and then go back and shoot more
No, you
dope?
say wanting to, man. Like I said, I want to, but that don't mean I'm gonna go out there and shoot it.
I don't even want to. It don't even cross my mind, huh?
Freedom and
I don't
everything.
either until somebody talking about it,
And I still believe, I don't care what nobody say, anybody that ever shot drugs, that abused drugs, whether they shoot it or not, they wants to do it. And some people are a little stronger than others, and they just had that willpower not to
That's
do
what
it. But
people
they
make
still
the
want
drug
to
life
do
to
it.
be a glamour life. If you sit down and look at what you were doing, people think of drugs, using drugs, selling drugs is glamorous. That's a bunch of hogwash, man. When you
Well, I
get
know.
back from
I
it
know what it is.
and look at yourself, put yourself in that predicament where you can see what you were doing. Look at yourself like somebody else would see you.
I stayed in the street 87 days.
You know,
because
you
of
ain't
drugs.
have time to look at yourself. That had to show you something about drugs right there.
Days because of drugs. And I know I'm just speaking in terms of if you use them, I want to use them again. But I know it ain't no good for me. You see what I'm saying?
So in other words, you telling me you know something ain't good for you, but you gonna use it anyway.
Right,
So
right.
what that make you, Skip?
Right, a fool.
Oh,
And what that make you?
makes me a wise guy, cause I know something's bad for me. I know if I touch it again, I'm
Well,
gonna
you knew it
abuse
was
it, so I
bad for
don't
you
do
in the
it.
street, didn't you? Didn't
Yes,
you know
I
it was
did.
bad for you in the street?
But I was
Well, why you
withdrawn
use it?
without a bit.
Why did you use it?
Because I was a goddamn fool
All
at
right
the time.
then. All right then.
See,
All
but I ain't
right
gonna
then.
tell you and lie to nobody else and say the drug life is glamorous. I like what I did. I like getting high because I didn't like it.
You didn't like getting high?
Hell no.
Well, why you get high?
Because I had a habit at the time.
Why you get high before you had a habit?
Being hip.
Because you lacked it.
No, I got high because I wanted to be hip.
Well,
I saw a
after you
slick
shot-
dude 10
after
years
you
older than
shot
me. I
the
wanted
first
to be
time.
hip.
After you shot
Is that why you got high, man?
That's why I got high, trying to be hip.
That's why you
No, man.
kept shooting drugs?
I was running with a mob. It wasn't something that I personally chose to do. I was running with a mob. That was my thing. See, y'all running around here making a myth out of that drug
I
shit.
ain't
That's
making no I know what drugs do.
Any dope fiend will tell
You
you.
know,
I kicked 3 different habits.
Any
and I got
dope
high
fiend will
because
tell
I
you
thought
you
it
got
was
high
fun for a
behind the
while.
crowd.
right.
See, the
right.
crowd want to do. You
But
follow
after
the
that, it won't. You ain't
gotta
give a fuck
have it.
about the crowd.
When you got a habit, it ain't the crowd.
You ain't care about no
Yo,
crowd.
drug addicts, you
gotta
better get
have
back
it.
and look at
Just
that drug.
Even before you got a habit, after you got the feeling, man, it
Ooh,
won't no
shit.
crowd no more.
But let me say this, Skeeter. Let me say this. Let me say this, man. Let me say this. It's something I know. If a dude really got down, you understand what I'm saying, and shot stuff.
Right.
I'm talking about really get down. I ain't talking about stand on the corner and wait for somebody to get
200 and 300 getting out there,
I'm
getting
talking about
money,
getting
spending
down.
money, speed
I'm
ball,
saying
buying
that's the
cocaine
only
and stuff.
thing you live a whole life of 6 or 7 years. You understand? So that's who I'm talking about. You know, I ain't talking about somebody that can say ain't gonna get off today. You know, because I done seen dudes that get off. You know, but I'm just saying, you know, like I remember how it was. It was nice. I remember how it was right now. You know, but just like he said, you gotta weigh it out. You know, you just weigh it out. Do I want to do this? Or I put myself, I said, do I want to be successful? Do I want to come back to penitentiary?
Let me ask you this.
It's as simple as that.
If you got $3 million today and went in the street, you understand?
Yeah.
Would you shoot in the drugs?
Nope. Because I know what it can do.
Cut.